All right, so moving on to the next slide. This is about Khan Academy being a great resource for everything finance related, and I think they do a little bit more than that as well. I'm not sure. I just keep finding them in my Google searches when I'm looking to figure out my finance problems. They have a great rent versus buy calculator, and I'm going to actually pull that up right now by exiting out of this slideshow. Oh, and by the way, the link to this slideshow will be in the description below. You'll be able to download the Excel sheet that we're going to go through right now, which is this one over here. And this is what I downloaded from Khan Academy. They also have this course on renting versus buying that you can watch. And what we're going to use this spreadsheet here for is taking a look at what's the alternative, right? Like I said before, if I was forced to buy a home, if my wife and I were forced to buy a home today, we'd want to buy the following: 3 to 4 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bathrooms, about 2,500 square feet. Even though we don't need all that space right now, we want to buy that type of home so we can grow into it over the next decade or so. And of course, we prefer, not of course, but we prefer to live in a condo or a townhome so we can keep our maintenance time spent on maintenance low, right? Look, you pay an HOA when you live in a condo or a townhome. HOA stands for Homeowners Association fees. That's for things like keeping up the grounds, right? Snow plowing in the winter, picking up the leaves in the fall, cutting the grass, things like that. You pay a fee for that monthly. That also covers exterior things like making sure the paint stays fresh on the exterior of the townhome or the condo building, making sure the roofs are replaced every 20 years or something like that. So my cousin lives in this development that I'd like to show you really quickly. This is not his unit, but this is one of his neighbors. The house sold for $450,000 back in 2016, and today it's estimated, his estimate's not always right, but it's estimated at $550,000. And if this is correct, that's crazy appreciation in 2 years. $100,000 is almost 25%, or it's about 25%. So what we're going to do here, I'm actually going to take an estimate of $500,000, which is actually going to work against me, right? That's a conservative estimate. Reducing the purchase price of the home 1, 2, 3 is $500,000. This down payment will, so this yellow field here is everything that's editable, right? And then all of this will tell us what we need to know. So this down payment will update to $100,000, which is 20%. That's pretty standard. The interest rate on the 30-year mortgage is right now at 6%. That's kind of high. I'm going to move that down to 5% because that's kind of what we're trading at right now. Amortized over 30 years. That's normal. Property tax rate. Now this property taxes are $7,800. Right, let's just call it $8,000. No, actually no. Let's keep it at $7,800. Stay conservative, right? Over 500. 1, 2, 3. The tax rate is 1.56%. So instead of 1.25, we're going to bump this up to 1.56. Annual maintenance, $1,000 a year. Sounds about right. Maybe a little low. Housing association dues, $2,000. Like I said before, I know that my cousin pays $300 a month, so this is going to be $3,600 a year. Annual insurance, $1,500 sounds high, so I'm going to change this down to $1,200, $100 a month. Annual appreciation, 3%, and inflation, 2%. Marginal income tax rate, 30%. Okay, that all makes sense. Cost of renting a similar home. Alright, I'm in, well, not that high. I'm in the $2,200 range. I'm going to bump it up to $2,250. Assume rental price inflation 3% every year, and assume annual after-tax return on cash. This is that opportunity cost that we were talking about before, right? How much money would you make if instead of putting your down payment in your home, if you put it into the market, or if you put it into some real estate investment, or whatever you did, how much money would you make otherwise? Me, personally, I look for 12% when I'm investing in real estate. The assumption here is 6%. I'm gonna go in the middle at 9. All right, we're gonna call it 9. So then what ends up happening is this maps out the next 254 months of payments, right? That's a little bit over 20 years. 20 times 12 is 240, 21 years and 2 months. I don't know why they decided to go that far specifically, but anyway. So we buy the home at $500 with a $400,000 loan, right? Because we put $100,000 down. This calculates the interest payments. This calculates the mortgage payment. How much principal is paid over time. We go down here. Insurance grows at 3% per year. Housing association dues grow at the same rate. Maintenance. These are all the expenses associated with owning the home. Income tax savings from interest deduction. I want to just take a look really quick here. What does the first 12 months look like? Some years 8,033. Oh yeah, of course 8,033, which is what we put in. When this gets to be above 10,000, you stop getting that benefit at 10,000. So this is also conservative, right? This is also working against me, because it's assuming you're going to be able to write off more than you can. Okay, just want to put that out there. Cash flow that could be spent on home purchase expenses. So this is the total here. This is the total of all the money that you'd be spending per month on your home. When you're in an owning situation. Here's the rent number, right? $2,250 is what we're starting with today, and it grows over time. Savings when renting, $100,000 right now. Of course, we're not going to put the down payment. Instead, we're going to put that in the market. We're saving $100,000 today. Here's the scenario of what happens if you sell at year 10. So your home value after year 10 from 500 would be $675,000. Okay, that's 3% appreciation. Debt after 10 years would be, you'd still owe about $327,000 in your mortgage, and that would mean that you have about $347,000 of value in your home. That's what you own, that's your equity. Transaction cost of selling in year 10, I think this is a 6%. Yep, 6% sounds about right. That's closing costs, lawyers, titling fees, broker commission, all that great stuff when you sell a home. Net cash if home is sold in 10 years, assuming no capital gains taxes, which obviously actually no, let's just assume that there won't be. All right, so you'd have $307,000 in your pocket. Now this number, if you sold your house after 10 years. Now this number, savings after 10 years of renting, $275,000. Where did that number come from? That number comes from the $100,000 that you invest today that grows 9% every year, right? So if we go over here to month 120, right? 12 times 10 is 120. If we go all the way to 120, we should see 275. Yep, boom. So we would have $307,000 in our pocket if we sold our home in year 10. If we took that same down payment and put it in the market, or if we put it in some real estate investment, or if we put it somewhere else that made a 9% return, we'd be left with $275,000 at the end of 10 years if we rented at $2,250 a month, and that grew at 3% per year. So what does that mean? Basically, if we take this $27,000 divided by 10 divided by 12, $229. We are paying a $200 premium, a $230 premium per month to rent rather than buy. Now, what does that premium include? It includes all those tangible, intangible benefits that we were talking about before, right? Mobility. You can pick up and get a new job a little bit further away from where you live. You can leave an area if you don't like the weather anymore and you need a change of scenery. Maintenance free, right? You don't have to spend any time dealing with the hassles of clogged toilets, dysfunctional appliances, cutting grass and raking leaves, things like that. You have better amenities, right? You're gonna have that pool that you're probably not gonna have in your home. You're gonna have that gym that you're probably not gonna have in your home if you own. And at the same time, you're gonna have a smaller footprint, right? You might buy bigger than you need, and then you're gonna have to pay utilities for that space too, right? You're gonna have to heat the whole house for space that you're not using. You're gonna have to cool the whole house for space that you're not using. Then you got to start considering, is that premium worth it? Is that flexibility worth it when it comes to buying your own home? Look, I understand that if we're looking at this from a dollars only perspective, we'd be $230 a month better off if we bought. But if we change these numbers just a little bit, let's say we made it $2,100 here, and I bumped this return up to 10%. Man, by just bumping up that return to 10% really made a difference, huh? say if my rent was still $2,250, $4,000 over 10 years, and I'm stuck in that one house for 10 years, as opposed to being able to move maybe 3 or 4 times in that same 10-year span if my family grows by one person every 3 or 4 years. I mean, I love that flexibility, right? And you can download this calculator from Khan Academy, run the numbers yourself, and make sure that you're making the right decision for yourself. That's what my wife and I did before we decided to start renting, right? And like I said in the beginning, we started renting by necessity. We didn't have the down payment to buy our own home, but now we do, and we still decide to continue renting because we ran these numbers and we're comfortable with the premium that we're paying on rent because of the flexibility that it provides us. So before I leave today, I just want to one more time reiterate, download this calculator, run the numbers on something that you want to rent and something that you want to buy, and compare it with actuals, right? Don't just take all that advice, all those invisible scripts that we've been hearing our entire lives growing up, and believe that it's true, right? Depending on where you live, it might make sense. It might make more sense to rent. It might make more sense to buy. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see my next video when it comes out, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment down below. Look, I know this is a polarizing topic, talking about renting your home versus buying and which one's better. The answer honestly is it depends, right? Leave a comment down below. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What do you think? And how did you get to that decision? Looking forward to you being in the comments, and see you in the next video.